Our next keynote speaker is Michel Falcon, and his keynote, by the way, is also his very first appearance in Belgium. His keynote will teach you how you can grow your business by putting your clients and your co-workers at the heart of your organization. Now, besides having helped a lot of SMEs, Michel has lended a helping hand to major giants such as McDonald's. They also have a giant, I think. Or is it Quick? I don't know. I don't eat meat, sorry. And Alfa Romeo also, to build an out-of-this-world customer experience. And I am hoping for an out-of-this-world keynote. So please welcome him with your biggest, warmest applause, Michel Falcon.
Good afternoon, everyone. I expected a better response than that. So I've come, let's start from the beginning. I'm gonna come back out, we're gonna do this again. No, so I've traveled from Toronto, so it's kind of a far ways away. So when I say good afternoon, yell good afternoon back, shake the person next to you, throw your chair, do something. Do something other than be quiet. So, Belgium, good afternoon. Now we can go. A lot of talk about customers, right? Just the word customers splattered all over the screens and billboards. Not a lot of talk about the employees. That's part of what we're going to talk about. Every company on this planet is going to tell you that they deliver an amazing experience to their customers. After all, why would they say otherwise? Some companies can tell you that they invest as many resources into their employee experience as they do their customer experience. But the fact of the matter is, and it's unfortunate, but the fact of the matter is, only a few companies actually do both. Now, you and I, we're the same, in the sense that we're entrepreneurs, we're business owners, we're leaders of our organizations. With that in mind, we have to recognize that our two most valuable assets aren't our services or our products. It's our employees and our customers, in that order. In my business, we don't refer to our employees as staff. The word staff originated in the 1800s, and it was used to represent a group of assistants. Are your employees assistants, or are they team members? Individuals that you are responsible for inspiring, paving a path for them, developing them, encouraging them, motivating them. If you're able to do that, the luxury that we have as entrepreneurs and leaders is we get to take a step back and allow a great team to deliver great experiences, to build great companies, in that order. Our second most valuable asset is our customers. Now, I was saying within our business, we want to create experiences that our customers have never seen before, so that we can earn that loyalty, but differentiate ourselves in crowded marketplaces. Raise your hand if you feel like you operate in a very competitive industry. Surprise, surprise, we all do. I'm in hospitality. One of the most, if not the most competitive industry. Toronto, if you guys aren't familiar, is the third largest city in North America after New York and Los Angeles. Our venues are on a street called King Street. I would argue that it is the most competitive industry for hospitality in North America. I literally have competitors in front of me, to the left, to the right, and behind me. So how are we going to differentiate? My competitor might be able to cook a better steak than our executive chef. My competitor might be able to build a cocktail that's better than our cocktail program. But the one thing that we are going to beat them on is building a people-first culture. You and I are the same. Sure, I'm hospitality. You might operate a construction company, a marketing firm, a law firm. Strip it all away. Strip it all away. We're just in the people business. Whether you have 1 employee, 100, or 1,000, I want you to remember, if maybe your grandparents or anybody you know that operated a business before the launch of the internet, how did they grow their business? By genuinely caring about their customers and their employees. When the internet launched, I think we became disingenuous and we lost that authenticity because we saw the internet as a tool to acquire customers like that. You invest in SEO and PPC and all that stuff, and then you start focusing on acquisition. You neglected retention. Retention was the game before the internet. Social media came around, gave these individuals a louder voice, and then we're like, oh shit, I should probably do something about this. Some companies were early adopters of using social media as a customer service tool. Some are slowly starting to get it, and some companies that you might not like doing business with are still struggling to get there. I want you guys, and I try to operate my business like the internet didn't even exist. Me and my business partners own venues, large-scale restaurants with hundreds of employees, tens of millions of dollars in revenue. 2 years ago, our company didn't exist. We have scaled from 0 to hundreds of employees, tens of millions of dollars in revenue in the 3rd largest city in Toronto. How we did that is exactly what I'm going to talk to you about today. I'm going to share the systems and processes that we have developed to build a people-first culture that allows us to beat our competitors and be profitable. Yes, you can be profitable in the restaurant industry. I've talked to a dozen people being like, oh, do you guys turn a profit? Yes, we do. If you can't turn a profit selling vodka, you should not be a business person. It's the easiest thing in the world. You just sell double vodka sodas all the time if you're not going to hit your numbers. I'm going to introduce you to something called micro customer experiences. Any single company, whether you have 1 employee or 1,000, can afford this program, and I promise you, it will help you beat your competition in the long run. I'm also going to introduce you to a concept that I call the 3P strategy: purpose, process, profit, in that order. That is what has helped us build this company from nothing to something and beyond. Our long-term goal is to get into hotels, and it's within eyesight. I recognize that some of you might not have hundreds of employees or tens of millions of dollars in revenue. That's okay. The reason that I think my message will resonate with you is because, please, build the stuff that I share with you today. Don't wait until you're 50, 100, or 200 employees, because it's going to make it infinitely more difficult to build a people-first culture and experience some of the benefits that come from building a people-first culture. So today, I'm not going to give you the rah, motivational stuff. If you get that from me, awesome. I want you guys to be able to leave and be like, hey, that guy from Canada that spoke in front of us taught us a thing or two. We can go back into our business and launch these processes this quarter or next quarter. That's what I want to be able to do for you guys. So let's have some fun. We have some Q&A at the end. So if you have any questions, I don't want you to forget, write it down on your phone, jot it down. If I don't get to your question for whatever reason, or if you think of a question in a week, a month, or even a year from now, I want to support you guys. My email address is right here. Feel free to email me at any time with any question that you have, and I'm very sincere about that. I love what I do. I want to be able to help you guys. This isn't work for me. Raise your hand if you believe that you could walk around your place of business and ask 3 people what customer experience means, and those 3 people would recite the exact same answer word for word. Do you feel confident that your employees would be able to say, customer experience is brrr, customer experience is brrr? Could you do that? Thank you for being honest, because sometimes I ask this question and people confidently put their hands up. I'm like, okay, is your team here today? They're like, uh-oh. And I was like, is that your team right there? Answer it. So the point is, How can we build something if we don't know what it is? These are the choice of words that me and my partners have chosen to describe what customer experience is. It's the sum of all interactions your customers experience when doing business with you from beginning to end. Now, whether it's this selection of words or something else, to be able to improve your customer experience and have it be your growth strategy, you need to have alignment. Who's been to a restaurant in the past 72 hours? Raise your hand. Fantastic. Do you mind role-playing with me for a sec? I want you, the moment that you realize that I'm hungry, I want to go for dinner, what process did you go through? What was the first thing that you did? And I'll plant the seed. Maybe you booked a reservation? That's it? Okay. What happened next? And I'm going to get the microphone here so people can hear you, if you don't mind. And thank you for letting me pick on you. So what happened? You booked a reservation. But let me ask you, did you book it on your mobile phone, desktop, tablet, or what type of device would you have booked it in? Did you call in?
We called in, yes.
You called in? Okay, that's one interaction. That's one interaction of potentially 4 in that first step. Continue. What happened next?
Before we went to the restaurant,
Yes.
we went to the website.
Okay, to check out the menu?
Yes,
There's another interaction. Did you use desktop or mobile?
mobile.
Okay, so there's another potential 2 interactions right there, and we haven't even gotten in our car to drive there yet. Continue.
Then we went to the restaurant.
Did you get an email confirming your reservation?
No.
You should have, but if you, in our business, our email address, we send an email immediately after. What is in the email? Frequently asked questions, the date and the time. Why? We had the frequently asked questions in that email because we want to, we're in it for a profit. If we don't answer your questions before you arrive, you might call multiple times asking simple questions. So we've bettered the experience from the very beginning. We're going to answer your questions right away. That helps with kind of the automation of the customer experience so that we have our hostesses not just answering the phone, answering where's parking, they're ready to greet you. Continue. Where'd you park your car? Let's say there's a parking lot.
It was just in front of the restaurant, so.
Okay, let's say perhaps the parking lot is owned by the restaurant. What if that restaurant has garbage with the company's logo in the parking lot? That's potentially a bad interaction, and you haven't even stepped foot. Continue.
So we went in.
Okay, you said hello to somebody, and I'll take it from here. You said hello to somebody, you spoke to a hostess, they sat you down, so that's one interaction. They sat you down, they talked to you about the menu, there's another interaction. Then your server comes and offers you a drink, there's another interaction, then your drink comes. We outlined our customer journey. There's a total of 27 macro and micro interactions that we have with our guests on a typical experience. The macro interaction are the things that your competitors are playing within. In my world, our competitors are trying to beat us by serving a better steak. That's a macro interaction. Maybe if you run a SaaS company, your macro interaction is the onboarding experience for new clients or whatever the case might be. The micro interactions is where you beat your competition. That email, I'm thinking right now, I think the email that we send to our customers should be a video of the team saying, like a personalized message of some sort. And how are we going to do that? We're going to have to invest in that team to make those personal messages, because think of how many customers we have. I'm willing to make that investment in having a team simply just record videos. What's your name?
Bart.
Bart?
Bart, yes.
Bart. That would be, so if you had the reservation, the email, I would get somebody to get an iPhone and be like, hey, Bart, can't wait to see you on Wednesday. See you then. It's going to be amazing. Boom, email. Now, you might be like, Michel, we literally have thousands of customers. Not everybody books a reservation, but even if we could do that for 10%, 15%, 20%, that's how I market my business. We don't spend, my lead marketer is right here. He traveled with me from Canada. We don't spend much. We spend a bit of money on digital marketing. The rest of our investment is stuff like that, because that's going to empower you to go tell your family members and friends because you had such a great experience. I'm going to try to win on the micro interactions. So when you design your customer experience, when you design your journey, keep the macro and the micro in mind. Win on the micro. That is what's going to help you these messages. These story-worthy experiences beat your competition because they're focused on the macro. Why do we do any of this? I'm not a bad guy. I like delivering great experiences to customers and employees. But sometimes people deliver that wow experience, Michel, so people smile. Look, I can't pay my bills on your smiles. I'm sorry, I can't. There's got to be an economic and branding ROI to all of this, to building a people-first culture. And this is what we've identified in our business. Profit. How can you become a more profitable company by having a people-first culture mentality? 2 words, organic growth. If you're a new employee of my company, whether it's a dishwasher, a general manager, or a bartender, everyone goes through general manager orientation, which is a part of the employee onboard experience. One thing we talk about is organic growth. I want everybody focused on what it is. Organic growth is defined by the revenue that is earned through repeat customers, people that come back again and again and renew, and word of mouth marketing. So if I was to deliver a great experience to Bart and he comes back again, Jordan, what's our cost per acquisition? 48 cents? It only costs us, our marketing is so on point, it only costs us 45 cents to acquire a new customer by using Facebook ads. So it's going to cost me 45 cents to acquire you as a customer. That's really nothing. So let's round it up to 45 so it actually seems big. But I would spend that amount to acquire you as a customer. I deliver a great experience to you. If you come back again and again and again, I'm not having to pay that transactional cost again. I earned it. I paid for it one time. I acquired him as a customer one time, and then I've earned it through customer experience. He's a highly profitable customer. Now, if you refer this gentleman, and you and your guest happen to come to my restaurant, I didn't pay anything. I earned that referral through customer experience. And you're going to come and have your evening out together, and you're going to spend your money. You're a highly profitable customer because I didn't have to pay to acquire you as a customer. I earned it through customer experience. Revenue. How can you increase revenue? I do not believe companies have earned the permission to cross or upsell other services and products until they've built trust first. Amazon, in 1997, was operating out of a garage in Seattle, Washington. It's hard. Amazon was smaller than every single one of our companies at one point. They were operating out of a garage, selling one product and one product only, which was books. They sold books for years. Does anybody know what Amazon's slogan as a company is? Not many people do. It's to be Earth's most customer-centric company, not Earth's largest website or Earth's website with the most amount of products. It's to be Earth's most customer-centric company. They built our trust by selling one product, having a predictable experience. They sold books, they sold books, they sold books. And then eventually they sold us a blender and a fridge and clothing. And then they went into different verticals and industries. Now they are one of the biggest companies in the world. Are we really going to debate the success of Amazon and their mentality in growing companies? They're able to increase their revenue by having bolt-on services and products. So maybe your service offering today, you're a marketing company and you offer SEO and PPC service offerings. Who knows what you might be able to sell in the next 2 to 3 years if your customers trust you, if they have an authentic relationship with your brand and the people within your organization. Employee morale. This one's simple. If your customers tell your team, I love doing business with your company, it's so easy, that's going to release endorphins within your team members. They're going to feel proud to work for your company. I have a prep cook named Eric Lockwood. He wore one of our branded hats to get coffee, and the person making his coffee said, "You work for Borrow? I heard that's a really great company to work for." That made him feel good. He told us about that story. He said, "I feel proud to work for this company wearing this hat." Employee morale is part of the ROI of all of this in building a people-first culture. Your employees will love working for you. Their morale will be higher. If their morale is higher, their engagement is higher. If their engagement is higher, their productivity is higher. If their productivity is higher, they're going to sell more, they're going to market better, they're going to service better. An admired brand. What do you want your customers and employees to think and feel when they see your brand or your employees in their uniforms or visit your website? Do you want them to think, "Oh, I wonder what color hue they used for their logo, or what font is that?" Nobody's thinking that. But yet, I know more companies that have spent more time and more money designing new logos than figuring out their employee experience. That's backwards. These are some of the things that you will experience if you are devoted to building a people-first culture. Some companies aren't going to do this. There's many reasons why. One of which is because they're short-term thinkers. When you build a people-first culture, you're investing in building relationships with people. For the individuals that are married or have a long-term relationship with a friend, how long did that relationship take? Years to build? But yet you think the relationship that you might have with that customer or that employee should be transactional? My friend Mark Burrows picks me up from the airport when I go back to Vancouver to visit my family and friends. It's what friends do for each other, right? I am very confident that when Mark is driving to pick me up from the airport, he isn't like, "Oh, what's the ROI of picking up Michel from the airport? I've spent a quarter tank of gas and it's been 7." He's not thinking that. I would like to believe Mark wants me in his life for decades. Maybe I'll be the one carrying his casket, or vice versa. Hopefully he does first. I love him, but hopefully he does first. But why do we have that? Why don't we have that same mentality with relationships with our team? As entrepreneurs and leaders, we don't secure our livelihoods. I've been in Belgium since Saturday. The show goes on. My team secures my livelihood, pays my mortgage, allows me to do things that I want. So why would I put myself first? I don't like saying my employees work for me. I would go as far as saying I work for them. It's my responsibility to pave a path for them and let them do good work. They don't want me in the way. They'll speak to more customers in one day than I will in an entire month. And I'm pretty customer-centric. I'm still in the business. So why would I put myself first? That's very self-serving. It's selfish. Audit yourselves. How are you guys spending your time and your money to grow your business? Do you have a people-first culture? Now, it's really easy to say, yes, invest in your employees. The 3P strategy is what allows you to bring it all together. The first P is purpose, and you must go in this order. Clockwise, not counterclockwise. Most companies are guilty of going counterclockwise and focusing on profit first. Look, I'm the first to tell you I am a profit-driven entrepreneur. I'm a capitalist. I believe in growing successful businesses, but I do it a different way. I've trained myself to think long-term because I know I'm investing in relationships. And investing and growing and nurturing relationships does not happen overnight. It takes methodical practice and execution. Purpose. 3 things you need to ask yourself. What is the purpose of our company? If it's just to make money, I feel that that's a poor business. Ask yourself a question. It's simple, yet very difficult at the same time. What do I want my employees and customers to think and feel when they see our brand? For me, I want my customers and my employees to feel safe. I want my customers to feel like, we're going out tonight. Where should we go? Hopefully they'll come to one of our portfolio of venues because they know it's a safe bet. They know our experience is consistent. They don't have a lot of time to go out every night. Maybe they only go out one night a month. I want them to feel safe that doing business with us is a good decision. I want my employees to feel safe as well too. When they come, they know that they can grow within the company. They feel protected, they feel invested, and they feel appreciated. I want my company to be a springboard for success for my employees, with or without the company. If somebody says, Michel, I want to become the vice president of your marketing division one day, fantastic, let's grow together. Let me invest in you, you do some good work, we'll grow together. This is how you grow a people first culture company. If I had somebody like Jordan, who's my marketing manager, tell me that in 3 to 5 years, he wants to start a marketing company of his own, ultimately telling me, I'm going to leave you one day. I'm fine with that because that's his purpose. Who am I to impose my purpose onto him? He's got his own thing. An employee could look me dead in the eye and say, Michel, I'm going to start a restaurant and I'm going to compete with you. I'll be like, cool. Can I invest? I'm not worried about this. Put their purpose before yours, and that allows you to build a people-first culture. What is the purpose of your employees or your customers? Each one of your customers have a different definition of success. They may share commonalities, but let me give you an example. For me, I'm a very transactional guy with companies that I do business with. If I go to the bank, not going to talk to you about the weather. I just want it to be like bada boom, bada bing, bada boom. Saves me 5 minutes. If I can save 5 minutes with 5 interactions per day, that's 25 minutes that I get to save and pet my dog and go to the gym or whatever I want to do. That's my purpose, is to have transactional relationships with the companies I do business with. My mom, she wants to have a relationship with everyone she does business with. She's going to keep you on the phone for 25 minutes before she's even told you why she's calling you. You got to serve her purpose. She wants to talk about her dog or the weather or the local sports team. Your responsibility as leaders is to train your team members to know that there are different personality types. In our business, there's 3. Director style, that's me. Socializer, that's my mom. The passive is somebody who's guarded, might appear to be timid. Maybe they're guarded and toward you because maybe the last company they did business with in your industry screwed them over. So they don't trust you. It's not your fault. They just got screwed over. They might be fronting, but who knows? They might be a socializer personality acting like a passive. When I went to go buy my car, I was a passive because I didn't trust anybody in the industry. I was like, get away from me. I don't want to talk to you. I'll talk to you. I'll come grab you when I need to talk to you. But, ordinarily, I'm a director. Once you understand the purpose of the company, the customer, the employee, then and only then can you start building the processes. We have 19 operational strategies that operate our entire company. They happen behind the scenes, and they impact our customer experience, employee engagement, and company culture. I'm going to walk you through a couple, but if you want me to send you the entire list of 19, I will email it to you. I know there's hundreds of people here, so that might take me a while, but I'm willing to put in the work. Email me and say, I want your strategies, and I'll email them to you. But give me some time because that's a lot of emails, and I probably just signed myself up for something that's going to take me forever, but I'm okay with that. Process. If you, could we have some dialogue? Fantastic. So you have applied to be a bartender with my company. We have a 7-step interview process. The reason it's 7 steps is because I want to make sure that you're going to fit within the culture. I'm also trying to take you through this long process because if you give up on the 3rd step, that told me you weren't committed to our purpose, which is fine. You can go to our competitors, ruin their companies, not mine. But I'm going to assume that you are a stand-up guy and we want you. The 3rd step is the culture interview. I'm only trying to figure out whether you're going to fit within our company culture. I'm going to ask you a question. What is the temperature of the sun? How would you respond to that?
It's now 25 degrees here.
Nobody knows the answer to the question. I don't even. I've been asking this question for over a year. The question is irrelevant, or the answer is irrelevant. What I want to hear is how are you going to respond to a question you don't know the answer to? If you say, Michel, I don't know the answer to that question. However, I'm going to find out for you. Okay, great. Carry on with the interview. Next question comes. If you email me later that day and say, hey, Michel, thank you so much for allowing me to interview with the company. I really hope you select me. By the way, the answer to your question is X. Thank you very much. I'm going to highly consider hiring you, because that's exactly the same way that you're going to treat our customers when they inevitably ask you a question that you do not know the answer to. How many times have we been in a department store or a grocery store or spoke to our telecom company and we asked them a question, we asked the employee a question, and they're like, I don't know. Like, well, shit, are you not going to find out the answer for me? We hired you, let's say, we put you through the entire process. We're going to ask you a question in the third step again. What is an indulgence that you cannot live without that costs less than $20? Let's try to keep it legal, because there's many of your colleagues here. Careful. What an indulgence, something you like chocolate, coffee, or so what's an indulgence that you can't live without that costs less than $20? Salmon, fantastic. Any type of salmon, like BC, British Columbia salmon, Scottish salmon, what type of salmon? Scottish salmon, fantastic. So on day one of your employment, you're gonna have a handwritten card waiting at your workstation, and we're gonna find you the best salmon, probably hydro-packed so it's not smelling up the restaurant, even though we cook salmon as well too, but you get the point. I don't want you guys showing up to your offices with like boxes of salmon and be like, this guy from Canada told us that. That's not the point. The point is that I want to find something out about you. And I want to be able to take that and bring it into the employee onboarding experience. Because on day one, I'm going to ask you to care about a stranger, our customers. I better be prepared to take care of you first. Now, what that allows us to do as leaders and entrepreneurs is hopefully you like that. You're like, oh, that's good. I like that. I like this company already. I'm going to take a step back and say, off you go. Go do your thing. I'm going to leave you alone. If you make a mistake, big freaking deal. We'll help you. We'll coach you. But then off you go, and I'm going to stay out of your way. I'm always here. If you need help, a management team's here, I'm an owner, we can help you too. But I'm trying to build a relationship with you on day one so that I can motivate you and make you feel something that you've never felt before with a company that you've worked for. I'm trying to own the dinner table. What the heck does that mean? I want to create an experience for this gentleman that he's going to go home and speak to his wife and his kids and say, I think I might work for the best company I've ever worked for. I'm trying to own the dinner table with my customers. I want my customers to come, and the next day when they're eating breakfast with their spouse or somebody they trust, they're at the dinner table talking about those experiences. I want to get into your home. I know that sounds a little invasive, but I want to be able to be in your home where you guys are talking about these great experiences. That is how you build a people-first culture. That's 2 of 19 strategies that we have. Cost effectiveness. I don't like to spend a lot of money to grow my business. I want to do the little things that are very impactful and yield a high ROI. $20, everybody can afford $20. Another thing that we do in our business that we're going to execute this coming year, and we find out in the interview process, what is a non-work related skill set that you want to learn in the next 12 months? I want to learn how to speak Italian so I can speak to my grandmother who lives in Italy. I want to learn how to salsa dance. I want to skydive. Fantastic. Our people person writes that down. 12 months after their employment, their 1-year gift is the thing that they said that they wanted to learn. So if they said, I want to learn how to speak Italian, their gift is a Rosetta Stone set so that they can learn to speak Italian. We'll hire planes that we can push them out of, or whatever they said that they wanted to do. Now, if you're thinking we are going to budget $500 per employee. We have hundreds of employees. We're now talking $100,000. That's okay. I'm betting on humanity. I'm betting on compassion. That these individuals will have a strong bond with the company and they won't leave. Our employee retention is 2.5 times higher than the industry average. This stuff pays for itself. I believe it's ROI positive. But even if it wasn't, it's the right thing to do. I'm trying to build a company for decades, and I'm sure you are too. So let's stop making short-term decisions. Let's think long-term in building the relationships with our employees and our customers, our two most valuable assets, so that we can have a business for decades to come instead of operating quarter over quarter over quarter. A micro customer experience is a small, affordable, and memorable gesture that you will do for your customers that resonates with them for years. This is what I talked about earlier. Play in the small game, play in the micro game throughout your entire customer journey and customer experience. Last week, we had a group of customers come in, a group of women came to celebrate an upcoming pregnancy. One of our core values is celebration. We want to celebrate our guests and we want to celebrate each other. This group of customers, there's about 4 to 6 ladies that joined us. Our server, Alyssa, had dialogue with the customer. How many companies in the audience tell their employees to listen to their customers? Raise your hand. Is that a part of your training? Listen to your customers, listen to your customers. I think you're doing them a disservice by saying that. Listen and take action on what you have heard. It's very easy to listen. Listen, Reinhardt, when we were at lunch, I was listening to you. But if I wasn't listening and engaging back, what the hell's the purpose of having the conversation? It's falling on deaf ears, right? Listen and take action on what you've heard. So Alyssa, the server that was serving that group, learned that these ladies are here celebrating a pregnancy. She's going to have her first child in 3 months. What an opportunity to celebrate our guests and build a micro customer experience. Alyssa walked over to our manager on duty named Vess, and they put the micro customer experience program into action. Vess ran across the street, bought wrapping paper, and 90 pairs of diapers and a handwritten card, came back in time, wrapped the gift, and gave it back to Alyssa. Alyssa, when she presented the bill, presented the gift as well too. So you see that? That's an actual picture. That's not staged. Those are not actors. What does this do? This is a pretty good story, right? But I told you my bills can't be paid on smiles or your laughter. And I love hearing your laughter. It's awesome. But that doesn't pay my bills. That guest that has that box, I'm owning the dinner table. She's going home to talk to her spouse and say, this spouse is going to be like, where the heck did you get that big gift and what's in there? Owning the dinner table. She'll be back. She'll be back 100%. I also believe that her guests now have a story to tell to their family members, their friends. Maybe they'll write a positive Facebook or Google review, or they'll rate us high on Net Promoter Score. We use Net Promoter Score within our business. That's the organic growth I talked about. Alyssa's employee morale is high because the customer's like, what the heck? We allow them to create experiences that our guests have never seen before so that they can work in a workplace that they have never experienced before. This venue in question does $10 million a year in sales. In our first year, we did $10 million. How much do you think we budget per month at this one particular venue for the micro customer experience program? Somebody throw some hands up. Throw some guesses out there. How much do you think we budget per month? Yourself? Can you take a guess? 500, okay. Anybody else? What about yourself? 1,000, okay. Yourself? 500? Good. This first audience has gotten really close to it. $250 per month. I don't even know what that is as a fraction on 10 million. It's nothing. If it was 5,000, it becomes infinitely easier for my employees. What are they going to do? They're going to hand out balls of Dom Perignon to nearly every single table. That's not memorable, right? It's also not affordable, but it's not memorable. It also can be replicated by our competitors. We want a small budget because I think the smaller the budget, the greater the impact of the gesture. Like your friend who picks you up from the airport. It's just human behavior. We're building an admired brand in the third largest city in North America, and we're just getting started. We don't have large marketing campaigns. We win with this. Everybody can do this, whether you're a construction company, a law firm, a marketing agency, or whatever it is that you might do to secure your livelihood. Those were some of the processes, just a few of 19 we have operating within the business. Now is when you get to reap the reward of profit. Now, profit doesn't just have to mean economical things like dollars and cents. You can profit by having an admired brand. The media, they'll write about you. The media writes about our company and micro customer experiences. That's free media that you earned instead of having to pay a PR agency to get you in that newspaper or that magazine or that website. You can profit by having high employee morale. You can profit by beating your competitors, whatever your goal is. Whether it's to run a profitable company, scale to 5 employees or 50 employees, or beat your competitors, or be recognized as a great workplace, however you define success is completely up to you. How you get there is what you have to think about. Are you willing to make decisions when the ROI isn't black and white? Are you willing to operate in the gray area? Are you willing to invest in relationships with your employees and your customers, similar to how you invest in relationships in your personal life? I hope everyone in this audience plans to be in business for more than 12 months. If you do plan on being in business for longer than 12 months, the people first culture is your greatest growth strategy. Thank you very much. So I think we have time for Q&A. I'll give that back to you.
Thank you.
So we got that little cool box that acts as a microphone. I got 10 minutes for some Q&A. So who wants to throw their hand up and ask me a question? Yes.
Thank you. How do you make sure that the culture drops down until all the hierarchy levels in your company?
Yeah, so how do you go from the GM, the owners and GM, down to the dishwashers and the frontline employees? There's a number of ways, but one of which is leading by example. Not very revolutionary, but you have to live within the values. We wrote up one of our business partners. One of my business partners got written up because he didn't live within our values. We set an example of him. We're not immune to these values. If I'm not living within the values, our 5 core values: celebration, ownership, humility, integrity, foresight, I expect my partners to hold me accountable. Another thing that we do is something called the partner shift. The partner shift is once a quarter, me and my business partners operate a full shift in one of our venues. Later this month, I think it's my turn to be a dishwasher. These are just the simple little things to make sure that it's embedded into the DNA of the company. If there are people operating within your business who aren't living within the values, to get it to go from top to bottom, get them out quickly. Even if they are the most skilled programmer, lawyer, marketer, get them out. Trust me, I've been guilty of making not making the decision fast enough. But as a leader of the company, if you want to make sure it goes top to bottom, bottom to top, you have to get everybody aligned. Right? Little things like this, having values, being able to recite the customer experience. What is that? What does employee engagement mean? So that is how you're able to create this culture of service to customers and to each other throughout the entire company. There's a question right over there.
Any thoughts on what the value is if it should be real when you do something? for your customer.
yeah.
So the value drops when you just do it because you want them to spend more money or to stick around. Any thoughts about that?
Yeah, it's got to be authentic, right? Like, I can't be a fake friend. Like, if me and you are friends, I can't be fake to you because I'm not going to be in your life very long. It really all comes down to hiring people who are customer-centric. The reason why we have a 7-step process is so that we have 7 interactions to see whether this person's faking it or not. So you got to front-load the work. You know, building great experiences for customers almost has nothing to do with customers. I didn't even talk about customers that long today. I was focused on the employee experience. So spend time figuring out what a successful customer-centric professional is in your business. We have a document called the customer persona, which describes an employee persona, a fictitious employee it's about 2 paragraphs that describes the attributes of the individual we're trying to look for so that we can give it to our interviewers and they know exactly what type of dishwasher, what type of attributes they have, what type of DNA does the right bartender have, and so forth. So you need to front load the work and spend more time on the employee part to get the customer part right. Within the 19 strategies, I have a ton that would be able to help you guys. And not just you, it's everybody. Does that answer your question for the short term? Yeah?
Absolutely, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for your question. It's hot up here, no? I'm melting. That pizza I ate last night, guys, I'm burning it right off. This is great. Yes?
Hi. We have a pretty small business, so in the business it's pretty easy to do the customer relationship. But how do you put it online? How can you, how does the customer see on your website that the experience is there and that the customer is first?
Yeah, so are you talking about customers that aren't doing business with you today and you want them to be like, hey, look how great our experience is because of our current customers?
Yes.
Yes. What I would do is how many customers roughly do you have?
1,500.
That's a lot. That's no small business.
We're only 2 business owners.
Okay, great. You know what I would do? And I mentioned this to the Teamleader company last night. Create a customer advisory board. Select, let's say, 5 customers that you know you've delivered great experience to. They have a relationship with you. They're loyal to you. They trust you guys. And not only put their commentary online, but allow them to express it offline. So what type of industry are you in?
Butchery and charcuterie.
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
Hospital?
No.
No.
Yeah. We have a butcher shop and a bar where you can eat fine.
Oh, okay. So you're in my world.
Yeah.
Oh, why didn't you just say that? Fantastic. So that's more of a one-to-one. So you're not B2B, you're B2C. I would take your customer advisory board that you've created, use their language in your marketing material. Buy Facebook ads, get their permission to use their face and their words, and target your demographic on Facebook with their actual ads. Go 19 to 35 or whatever your demographic is, male and female in this region, and target them with their words. Because your prospective customers, if you say, I'm great, look at us, that's weird. You wouldn't do that in your normal life, would you? Why would you do that in your business life? Get your customers to do the advocacy for you. But have a structure, have a process in it. So go build your customer advisory board, find 5 customers, say, hey, you'll get some free products once a month. I'm not, to get them to buy in, and then have them assist you. Let them do your selling. But you can't ask them for their permission to do that unless you've built a great experience for them.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Awesome. Got a question right there?
Yes, hi, everybody. Hi. How do you actually communicate all those strategies towards your employees? And do you have a community? Do you have Do you use tools?
Yeah.
Do you have training sessions? Do you do events? Or how do you actually get them out there and sell your thing?
Very solid question, because it's a lot of information to retain. During our GMO, General Manager Orientation, every single employee, regardless of whether you're a dishwasher or a general manager or assistant general manager, is going to be exposed to the 19 strategies. So we communicate it with them on day one, and often it actually happens before, during the recruiting process. When we're trying to get that great bartender from that other restaurant that we're trying to poach, we're going to use it within the interview process to get them really entice them to come and join us. How we communicate on a weekly basis is we have a closed Facebook group as well too. You guys might use Slack, but we talk about the initiatives regularly. We have something called the Employee Advisory Board. One individual from every department is elected to this board. One dishwasher, one bartender, and so forth. They meet with us, me and my business partner Brandon, once per month for 2 hours for an off-the-record conversation. During that time, we talk about the current state of the workplace. During that time, we also discuss the current initiatives, and we ask them, what ones are working? Which ones need to be cut? What would you like to see? Then they act as ambassadors of their department, and then we funnel the information to our population through them. My employees don't always want to hear from me. And, not to offend you, but they probably don't always want to hear from you too. They like to hear the message from their peers as well too. So that's how we take some of the information and kind of funnel it throughout the organization, is through their peers. Does that answer your question?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Thank you.
awesome. I think I got time for one question. Right here.
Hi.
Hey.
I had a question. You talked a lot about aligning with the purpose of your employees and the people first culture, and you invest a lot of time in the hiring process. But then you answered the question, you also told that once the core values aren't a fit anymore, that you have to cut ties and you have to move on. But in a very candidate-driven market where talent is hard to find, I think it's pretty hard to just immediately cut ties. So what would you do to enforce culture? I mean, people change. They could be a fit, but then...
100%. Look, I'm not naive. You might have an engineer or a marketer who produces great results for you, but you and I both know that they're a bad culture fit. Hiring them, it's your fault if you have a knee-jerk reaction and hire them. At the end of the day, you're the one that hired them. You signed your name next to that individual, so you got to help get them out of that ditch. My rule of thumb is 3 tries. If, let's say, you're the bad bartender that I'm trying to coach, I'm going to create a training path for you. But before that, I'm going to bring it to your awareness. You might not know that you're being a jerk, right? You might head down, you're just working. Maybe there's some awareness that needs to happen, and then you turn it around. Whew, thankfully, I didn't fire him. All he needed was awareness. Then I'm going to create a training path for you. Then hopefully, you get back on track. If you don't, we're going to do it one more time. If you fail at that, then I got to replace you. Often people are like, oh, but what happens if we lose that salesperson or that marketer? What are we going to do? I say, okay, well, let's play this role. What would happen? What are the 5 things you would need to do if Joey got hit by a bus tomorrow? I would need to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Great. Start with number 1, fire Joey tomorrow. That's what you would have to do. Does that answer your question? Kind of? Well, let's go one more time. So,
the one thing I have is that you can hire people that are culture fit. So there's no error in the hiring process. But then people change, and you talked a lot about growing together.
I don't think people change, man. Deep-rooted values, I would like to think I have a lot of integrity. Is my integrity going to change? I never had integrity in the first place. I didn't. We asked 2 interview questions per core value during the interview process. It's 7 steps. If you can fake it that long, you should be on Broadway or go to Hollywood because you're a damn good actor. That's why I like to front load my work. You're not gonna be 100% complete all the time. I've made bad hiring decisions, right? But as long as you learn from that potential mistake, some people are professional interviewers, they're great actors. You need to have that process though, right? That long process to make sure to see if people tap out and say, you know what, I don't want to work for this company, this is too long, I'm going to go work for this company, they hire me on the spot. Put people through the process. That guy right there and that guy right there. 7 interviews. How many hours? A lot. Multiple weeks. I put them through hell, but now they're here in Belgium with me. It's awesome. That's a sweet deal. Guys, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate your attention.